Take a moment.
Right.
Your choice. Wherever, whenever, anywhere in time and space.
There is someone that I've always wanted to meet, but I know what you'll say.
Try me.
It's Robin Hood.
I was thinking someone else, but okay.
I love that story. I've always loved it ever since I was little.
These
Robin
equations.
The heroic outlaw who robs from the rich and gives to the poor.
Yeah.
It's made up. There's no such thing.
Ah, you see? And what about you?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I
Some
love
bad things
this.
happening every minute of every day. That sounds pretty heroic to me. Robin Hood, show me.
Very well.
I love these new angles they're using here.
No such thing as Robin Hood.
Hold on now. Yeah, you might have. Speak of the devil.
So I saw a Turk perform something very similar at Nottingham.
Clara?
Well, don't you know all property is theft to Robin Hood?
You're not serious.
Yeah, I'm many things, sir, but I'm never that.
I love the glow.
And do people ever punch you in the face when you do that?
Not as yet.
Lucky I'm here then, isn't it?
Might be a little bit much, but
Wow.
what do you reckon, Doctor?
By all the saints.
Yeah.
God, it is, isn't it?
Oh, you found him. You actually found Robin Hood.
I have no sword. Because I am the doctor.
Ooh.
And this is my spoon.
Hey, he's pretty good. He fell for it.
I'm going to need a sample.
Of what?
Spit.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Dark days.
My lady?
You said that these were dark days. What did you mean?
King
Look at those
Richard
eyes.
Away on crusade, my lady. His tyrant of a brother rules instead.
You see before you Robert
Earl of Locksley.
Lee.
Yes.
On a contest to find the best archer in the land. There is no contest.
Them and their fake laughing.
Right! That isn't even funny. I am totally against bantering.
No bents?
When did you stop believing in everything?
When did you start believing in impossible heroes?
The day she met him?
Don't you know?
And a stranger known as Tom the Tinker.
Tom the Tinker.
Perhaps not such a stranger after all.
Hey, look at this. I love it. The costume design, the look of it. Kind of reminds me of Christoph Waltz. Oof. Doctor.
To the dungeons! With all of them!
All of them, okay, good.
Quickest way to find out anybody's plans. Get yourself captured.
Get on the inside. Ooh. Oh,
Splendid. In chains.
Yep.
look at
Stuck
this.
like turkey cocks. That's thanks to your friend.
Shut it, Hoodie. I saved your life.
If you had not betrayed me, I would have been triumphant.
You would have been a little puff of smoke and ashes.
She's gonna ask him to
You'd
shut
have been
it.
floating around in tiny little laughing bits in people's goblets.
Funny, do you know, I feel another laugh coming on.
Guards, I cannot remain in this cell! Rolling around the floor laughing. I would pay good money to see that. Guard! Guard! Guard!
You two, shut up!
I love a bit of light shafts.
The Doctor and a Robin Hood locked up in a cell. Is this seriously the best that you can do? You're determined to starve to death in here, squabbling.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'd last a lot longer than this desiccated man crew.
Really? Really? I have a plan.
Can you explain your plan without using the word sonic screwdriver?
Ah, I like that. I like
Because
that.
you might have forgotten the Sheriff of Nottingham has taken your screwdriver, just saying. So it's a screwdriver.
Right, okay, well, let's hear Robin's plan. So he can do the interrogating. Very wise.
Excellent, he will get nothing from me.
No. He will get nothing from me, because interrogation
It's a pissing contest.
Turn the tables. You see, that's my plan.
Seriously.
Come on. No.
What are you doing?
Don't be ridiculous.
Oh.
He just can't seem to cope. He gets so afraid.
Ah.
He gets into a kind of fit. I honestly believe that he may die of sheer fright like some tiny, shivering little mouse. Oh God, I think he soiled himself.
Let him die. He'll say.
Say again.
Okay, go on, get closer.
Your breath stinks like a serpent. Has anyone ever told you that?
First the blacksmith's forge.
So as to remove our chains.
No, so I can knock up an ornamental plant stand. Of course it's so we can get rid of our chains. I won't be manacled to you all night. Oh, no, please don't do that.
Ornamental plant stand.
It's not even that funny.
You're an amusing fellow, Doctor.
That was good.
Just stop.
I like him a lot. Ah. This is going to be
something real. No more fairy tales.
What is this place?
Data banks. Where was the ship headed?
Promised Land.
Promised land again.
Missy.
Like the half-faced man, but more sophisticated. Full of every myth and legend you could hope for, including Robin Hood.
Wow. It's gotta be a trip for this
Is
guy.
it time you came clean with me?
I should have skewered you when I had the chance.
I would like to see you try.
They have great chemistry. Really entertaining.
You will tell me exactly who this doctor is and what are his plans.
Thank you.
Engine capacity at 82%.
Return Clara to me and I'll do what I can.
I don't have Clara.
Robin's one of yours.
What did you say?
He's one of your tin-headed puppets.
He's not, is he?
Brutes here.
Robin Hood is not one of mine. Why would we create an enemy to fight us? What sense would that make? That would be a terrible idea.
Yes. Yes, it would. Yes, that'd be a rubbish idea. Why would you do that? But he can't be. He's not real. He's a legend.
Too kind.
Ooh.
I'm too much for you, outlaw! First of a new breed! Half man, half engine!
Yeah, someone's falling in there. Ah, he's gonna use the doctor's trick.
Bow down before your new king, you prince of knaves.
The man of gold. I like him. Look how striking that red is. And the blue, of course.
Whoever he is a very lucky man.
Marion is very lucky too.
Is what true?
That in the future I am forgotten as a real man. I am but a legend.
I'm afraid it is.
Good. History is a burden.
Ah.
Stories can make us fly.
Ah.
I'm still having a little trouble believing yours, I'm afraid.
That a man born into wealth and privilege should find the plight of the oppressed and weak too much to bear.
No.
Until one night he is moved to steal a TARDIS. Fly among the stars fighting the good fight. Clara told me your stories. You are her hero, I think.
I'm not a hero.
No. Yeah.
Neither am I. But if we both keep pretending to be,
Maybe. Maybe.
perhaps others will be heroes in our name. Perhaps we will both be stories. And may those stories never end.
Go on, man. Yes.
Goodbye, Doctor.
I really enjoyed these two together.
Of Gallifrey.
Goodbye, Robin Hood. Earl of Locksley.
And remember, Doctor, I'm just as real as you are.
Admit it. You like him.
Yeah.
Well, leaving him a present, aren't I?
And she should be right behind. Yeah.
found you at last.
Thank you! Thank you, Doctor!
Okay, so I've got to say, that's a damn good time. That's a fun time. And, it's because at the heart of it, it's just a fun outing. It's a fun episode. It's not trying to be anything else. And for that reason, I don't think it really needs to be dissected and picked apart. Because that's just the tone of this episode. It's not trying to be one of the greatest episodes of Doctor Who or anything. And it's definitely the type of episode that is going to be, a hit and miss. For some, this might be really, really quite annoying, perhaps. And, that's fine, of course, because there has been episodes of this ilk in the past that I just didn't really enjoy and I thought just really fell flat. So I can understand if someone really didn't enjoy this episode, right? Some of these episodes are usually really quite subjective, but I'm sure there's many of you that actually enjoyed this, right? Just as much as me. That, this might be a comfort episode, that this is one of those fun episodes that you can just kind of enjoy at all times, at any time, really. But yeah, sure, it has its share of nonsensical plot and nonsensical conclusion, perhaps. The whole, ship trying to get out of there and then the golden arrow and all that. And perhaps that's the one element of it that wasn't the greatest, perhaps. The robots and, the mechanicals, as they call them, that aspect of this story. But honestly, everything else is just such a riot. It really is. It's got a great setting, great costume design, great guest characters, right? Robin Hood, of course, the sheriff, and you see that Clara fits right in. She fits right in, that she's out of this era, essentially, right? That she could be a part of that era. I mean, she looked absolutely stunning. I know I say that a lot, but listen, once again, somehow my jaw dropped the moment she stepped out of that TARDIS. And, it was kind of clear, okay, she's about to make a grand entrance because, the Doctor stepped out, but Clara didn't. But, the thing is, I legitimately thought that she's going to say Marcus Aurelius as that one person that she wanted to meet. I was so sure of it. Though, of course, that would have been a totally different type of story, right? Yeah, totally different type of story if that was the case. As I am on the topic of the TARDIS or being inside the TARDIS, I love the new angles that they're using here. I love the set. It's a new set, right? Surely that's a new set. I love how they're using a different, section of the TARDIS now. For a long time, it's always been kind of staged in the middle, around the center console. It's always been there. That's been like the main stage for almost everything that's gone down inside the TARDIS, right? Other than a few different moments. The journey to the center of the TARDIS being the one deviation from that, as it does kind of explore the inside of a TARDIS. And there's a few other episodes as well. And also, I did forget to mention that the last episode, the Into the Dalek episode, it was really quite reminiscent of the journey into the TARDIS, or to the center of the TARDIS episode, right? A lot of same elements, but isn't it so great that adding a few bookshelves and using different angles and kind of staging it from a different part of the TARDIS or a different section of the TARDIS can add so much more personality to the interior of the TARDIS? I'm loving it, and I'm really enjoying the look of the TARDIS, the inside, the interior, right? The color design. And then, of course, it continues the equations that the Doctor kind of initiates back in Deep Breath, right? So 3 episodes running, they've kind of shown us a glimpse of it. So clearly it is related to the major plot point of this entire series, perhaps even linking it to Missy. And speaking of Missy, the Promised Land is kind of mentioned once again. And then, there's a lot of reoccurring themes already, things like a leak of radiation or radiation leaks affecting the surroundings. And there's also this element of, crash landing on Earth and, them being robots as well. But then they kind of die and end up in that place, the Promised Land, with Missy. But, the only outlier I can see at this point is the girl from the last episode, the lady from the last episode who dies, who gives up her life. It's quite the sacrifice, quite the heroic sacrifice, actually. And that kind of even ties into some of the themes of this episode, right? Inspiring others through your own legend. You know, over the span of these past 2 episodes, they've firmly established the new tone of this series, or, you know, this Doctor specifically. Though, of course, you know, over the span of a few different series, you know, 8, 9, and 10 perhaps, I'm sure I'll see a shift as well. But for now, you know, it's a really distinct tone. And that's fine, for sure. I'm interested in that, for sure. I'm excited about that. But it was still nice to get a bit of a break from that, perhaps, even this early on, from that dark and gloomy, morally explorative themes of this series so far. And, you know, I thought that Robin's boisterous, you know, heroic attitude, cheerful and heroic attitude, is perfectly contrasted with the Doctor's newfound cynicism, right? His really serious demeanor. You know, he's quite the grouch. He's quite grumpy in this one. He really doesn't like banter, doesn't like bantering, even though there is a lot of fantastic banter down the line, right? Top-notch banter. Love the bants, of course. And the Doctor sees a lot of his older self in Robin, doesn't he? His older, younger, cheerful self. You know, boisterous, like I mentioned earlier. And because of that, there is this hostility towards Robin, right? That he is trying to undermine Robin at every turn. And it makes for some fantastic scenes, doesn't it? You know, the jail cell or the dungeons, that whole scene's a riot. I enjoyed that so much, the back and forth. I thought these 2 actors, and the actor playing Robin actually does seem familiar. I'll have to IMDb him after. But yeah, I thought he was really quite great in that role. Really fun in that role. And, you know, you can see that he is kind of hamming it up, right? That's the direction this episode took. That's the direction the writing took. But I thought he pulled it off. I thought he was really quite charming, you know, funny. His disposition was really quite fun. And yeah, like I said, it's not really trying to take itself seriously, is it? So, you know, it would be kind of silly to really pick this apart and really dissect it. Listen, sometimes I just need an episode like this. Just a whole lot of fun. And the thing is, even though I just mentioned his, you know, grouchy, grumpy nature, that he's against all the laughing, he can't stand the laughing, right? Or the cheerful nature, it actually does kind of showcase this new Doctor in a different light really early on as well. Listen, Capaldi can do comedy. But the great thing about this is that the comedy that is written for Capaldi is perfectly in line with this Doctor, or, you know, the new personality of this Doctor. I thought Capaldi was great in this, you know. He was downright childish in this one as well, right? Like I mentioned, it became a pissing contest. They're trying to one-up each other, and I think it's really quite effective because it is Capaldi's Doctor. Listen, maybe I could see Matt Smith in this role, or in this story, but I think it would have been a totally different dynamic. The reason it is effective is because of you know, the contrasting nature of the Doctor and Robin, right? Otherwise, you kind of have 2 people that are kind of really similar. If you do have the 11th Doctor and Robin together, and, you know, the Doctor immediately rejects the idea of being a hero, as Robin brings it up. I mean, that notion is so it's just so bizarre to him at this point. He really gets quite defensive, doesn't he? But, you know, Robin reminds him, you know, even if you are uncomfortable by that idea, by that notion, you are a hero nonetheless. And I really love the idea of, you know, Robin and the Doctor kind of existing more as a myth rather than actual people. But, you know, they should be judged, or could be judged, by the things they inspire in others, right? Through this existence, through their legend. And look no further than Clara. She's inspired by both of them in this episode, right? And she's certainly inspired quite a bit by the Doctor, who is her hero, essentially. And, you know, that idea is still, it's a tough one for this Doctor to kind of comprehend, as he's so defensive about that idea, of that notion, right? He's really trying to distance himself, because, again, you know, he's in a bit of a crisis mode, essentially, right? A lot of self-searching going on, introspection going on. So, you know, he's in no shape to be accepting that type of praise. But I think Clara is going to be playing an important part, for sure, throughout the series, throughout the story arc. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff, really enjoyable. And I think you need these types of episodes every now and then. And yeah, you know, it also kind of made me a little bit more excited about Robin Hood, you know, because right now I do kind of feel like just searching up Robin Hood and, you know, the different adaptations, you know, shows or films. Look up this guy, the actor who played Robin Hood, because he does seem familiar to me. Right then, if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you are interested in early access, and that should be 2 episodes of early access at this point, or perhaps full length, timer-based full length, of course. If you are interested, check out the links in the description, in the pinned comment, also links to social media, if that's your thing. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is, and I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.